So I'm saying don't procrastinate, no matter if it's real estate or hanging out with your family or whatever the case may be. Networking and building relationships, that's really where, that's the most important thing. Networking, getting to know people who know more than you, getting to know people who think like yourself, hanging around people who have a positive attitude, not the negative, you can't do this and you can't do that. You want to get away from those people as quickly as possible, even if it's your family. And building those relationships. So I've networked with many people in this room in over 25 years, and I've gotten to know a lot of good people. And you get to pick and choose some good partners, and you pick and choose some bad partners, and you live and learn. Partnerships is like, we can have a whole class on partnerships, and really should enter into partnerships very slowly, and just dip your toe and then go from there. I'll give you a good example of not a partnership, but how I do business. I'm a high D, so I'm like, let's just do it. Let's do it, I don't care. Let's do it, let's get it started. Ian's a D, but he's got a little bit of less D in him. When I hire somebody, it's like the first person I see walking on the street. You want a job? You're good? Come on in. All right. Ian went through, now I've had some bad hires, so just to let you know. We're hiring a new person. Ian interviewed 7 people, 10 people, probably close to 15 people. Yeah, pay attention. 15, I'm a good partner on that. We interviewed 15 people, Ian interviewed 15 people. Some of them didn't show up. What was the one that didn't show? He left in the middle of the interview or something?
Not even middle, we didn't start the interview, I just put down the list of responsibilities, and when I came back to interview him, he was gone. He stole my pen though.
So he interviewed 15 people, whittled it down to 3. Out of those 3, they took what's called a DISC test, D-I-S-C, and it's a personality trait test. And out of the 3, 1 was like a rock star. 1 was like highly detailed and friendly with people, and that was perfect for the position. And we hired her, okay? That one hire could propel our business to double what we did last year. One good hire can make or break you, especially beginning. So what I'm saying is, he took the time to pick an employee. You should take more time than that to pick a partner, okay? Build your team. Who's part of our team? Who's critical members of our team? Can we name some?
Banker.
Banker. Contractors.
Suppliers.
Suppliers.
Real estate agent.
Real estate agents.
Title.
Attorneys, title. Jason Ward, title, right there.
Insurance.
Banker, Jason Ward, Kara Mortgage.
Insurance.
Insurance.
Psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist.
Always.
Pharmacist.
Yes.
Bartender.
Bartender. Did anybody say CPA? You that said CPA? Super critical. We had Matt Stevens talk about the new tax law about 3 months ago. Very good. So if you need people on your team and you need some references, let us know. We'll email you the information. They'll be glad to talk to you. But building your team is super critical, and it's always an evolving and changing team. I mean, you have your core people and you have your network and your sphere of influence, but your contractors are probably changing more than maybe your CPA is. But you have to have that team where you can call them and get really good advice from them. Like should I create this LLC, and should I do it this way, Mr. CPA? Those are like the first 2 calls you make, right? Your CPA and your attorney, when you're going into some larger venture. Yeah, so what I did after 5 years of digging, 5 years of digging myself out, I started over. I slowed down, and I built my team, rebuilt my team. So if you don't have this, you're stuck in the water. Again, you could be the greatest plumber, you could be the greatest carpenter, doctor, but if you don't have the capital and the money to get yourself going, you're dead in the water. And that's critical as a real estate investor. You could find the hottest smoking deal and you don't have any way to pull the trigger on it. A good example. Yesterday I got a call from a landscaper who does work for us. he said, hey, I come across what he thinks is a good deal. I don't know if it is or not. But he sent me a picture of it, he gave me the details on it, it's $300,000. He doesn't have that kind of money to put down. I said, have you considered owner financing? He says, well, I'll ask the owner, because he has $10,000 he could put down, and the owner could hold a mortgage. So he's gonna ask the owner. He said, well, what about if I just did a wholesale deal, and I just assigned the contract to somebody, right? So he would get it under contract for $300 and sell the contract to somebody for maybe $10,000, right? That's called wholesaling. I said, that could work, and I'd be interested, because I looked at it, and it's got potential, but I'd have to go see it. So he's going to see if he can buy it. If he can't get the capital and do it himself, then I might step in and give him $10,000, and I'll take over. So there's always ways to make money, even if you don't have the ability to buy it. But if you don't have the capital, and you're not prepared and set up and ready to act on that next deal, you shouldn't even be looking. So don't start looking until you have your team in place, until you have your capital in place, and your real estate IQ is at somewhat of a level where you can start digging. And let me go back to digging. If you're gonna dig with a spoon first, not with an excavator. Eventually, I started with an excavator. You're gonna wanna dig with a spoon, and then a shovel, and then you can get to the excavating level, but the spoon. Leverage and time management, super critical. Here's another question for you, see if you can get this. How many hours a week do we have, quickly? Whoa, who said that? That's because I said that like 20 times and you've been to 20 of these.
Pretty much.
Okay, we have 168 hours in a week. Not a lot, is it? Because when you think about, well, you said you work 7 to 5? So that's what, that's 8 or 9?
50-hour weeks.
Huh?
Like 50-hour weeks.
50-hour weeks, that doesn't include travel?
It's another 2 hours.
A day, or 2 hours on
A day.
a day?
Mamma mia.
Okay, so that's
You used to be me.
60 hours, and you sleep 8 hours a day?
Like 4.
Huh?
Like 4.
Well, most people, I can say 4.
I live on caffeine.
Let's say you sleep 8 hours a day, that's 50, that's 100, that's 110 hours right there. Then you eat, shower, play with your kids, exercise. There's not many, how many just know when you get home, but how many hours of the day is there really to be productive on your goals, right? There's not many. So treat your time like it's gold. It's more valuable than gold. Treat it like gold. And how do you leverage yourself? How can you leverage your time? How does one leverage? Through technology, right? So instead of going out and taking pictures of a house on a street that's an hour away, why wouldn't you just go to Google Maps, right? Leverage your time through technology, through marketing, through people. And here's a really good one. It's hard to do. Saying no. Just say no, kids.
No.
Very good. You gotta say no to a lot of just obligations in life, and specifically I'm talking real estate. Deals. You have to say no to a lot of deals. If the deal is just, you have to look at it, because if I said yes to every deal, I would not have a day, an hour off, right? Because I'd be analyzing, looking at every deal. So you have to be focused. What are you in this for? What is your goal? Where do you want to be? And then stay totally focused to that. Don't look at shopping centers, and don't look at $5,000 houses in bad areas. Don't, unless you want to buy $5,000 houses in bad areas and shopping centers. You want to buy duplexes and singles? Stay focused. Then even focus even more. What areas do you want to buy in? Brookline, Wilkinsburg, Upper St. Clair, wherever it is. Don't look everywhere, because you're never going to find a deal. You're going to be like a jack of all trades and master of none. You want to stay somewhat focused. Then as your IQ grows, you can become a little more broader in your focus, okay? So, anyway, we're going to get started with, can you hook up that video? We're going to get started with a 5-minute video of the gentleman by the name of Brian Tracy. Has anybody heard of Brian Tracy? Yeah, he's written some books and motivational things, and
probably start back in.
Yeah. First start.
I'm Brian Tracy, and I'm always being asked, what are the habits of successful people? What is it that successful people do habitually every single day that leads to them being in the top 20% of money earners in our society? Well, Aristotle said that 95% of everything you do is the result of habit. So the rule is form good habits and make them your masters, rather than allowing bad habits to form. In fact, the other rule says this, is that good habits are hard to form, but easy to live with. Bad habits are easy to form, but hard to live with. Now, one of the turning points in my life and my studies of psychology was the discovery that all habits are learned and can be unlearned. Actually, you don't actually unlearn a habit. You simply replace a bad habit with a good habit that has more power and impact. And how do you develop a good habit? You develop a habit by repetition. Almost everything you do from the time you get up in the morning is habit. So start to think about yourself. What would be the best habits to have? Now, I have written a book called $1 Million Habits. It has 12 chapters, 12 critical areas of life. And in each chapter, there's 20 or 30 habits. So let me give you some of the best. Number one, develop the habit of daily goal setting and goal orientation. What does this mean? This means when you go to sleep at night, think about your goals for the coming day. Make a list for each day of all the goals, the little goals you're going to accomplish that day. Keep a journal and write down your goals on a regular basis. When you're driving through the day, think about your goals. When you're talking to other people, think about your goals. You see, you do become what you think about most of the time. You do achieve what you think about most of the time. So all successful people and all wealthy people think about their goals most of the time. Second of all, be results-oriented. Now, results-oriented people are always thinking of the most important things that they can do right now to achieve their most important results. Successful people make a list of everything they have to do, and before they start working, they set priorities on the list. Here's a great way to become result-oriented. Actually, it's life-changing. Ask yourself, once you have your list for the day, if I could only do one thing on this list before I was called out of town for a month, what one activity would I want to be sure to get completed? And put a circle around that and start on that activity immediately, first thing. And then discipline yourself to work nonstop until you complete that one activity. This simple technique has taken people from rags to riches all over the world for at least 100 years.
Who has done that with their emails? They just, the first ones I go to, I think, because I'm mentally challenged, is I'll go to my, the trash folder. I have to clean up all the, non-important stuff. Does anybody do that, or is that just me? It's just me, okay.
No.
And then, yeah, I end up not getting to the most important things of that day because I don't want to do it because there's pain there. So I think what he's saying is, hit that pain spot first, and then as you do that, you'll start to build that muscle that you're not going to procrastinate. You're going to get things done. Yes.
I have a whole bunch of wholesalers in my email, and some of them I work with over and over again, and it seems like the good ones I keep going back to, the bad ones are like, this guy never has a really good deal. So it's like, if I see his email, it's like almost in the trash in literally 2 seconds after I open it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take long at all. You form an opinion about somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'll see what he has today. And, you're already biased against that person.
Yeah, that's important. That's building your reputation. That's why we turned down a lot of clients at Mace, because I don't want that reputation of doing a bad job. So I'd rather turn people down. So that has to do with reputation and, and then you're saying you're not opening up those emails, but anyway, a lot of this stuff is, I've never read that book, but I just wrote it down. I'm gonna get the book, and just, these are basic little fundamentals that if you practice every day, you're gonna become a better person.
Most important task, and start on it immediately, and then discipline yourself to stay with it until it's complete. Another habit that you can establish is to become people-oriented. Recognize that everything that you achieve in life is going to be with the help or support or cooperation of other people. So always think, what is it that other people want and need from me? How can I help other people so they'll want to help me back? If you're in sales, top salespeople think about their customers all the time. They think about who their customers are and what their customers want and how they can help them the most and how they can help them even more today. In their relationships, successful people are very focused on the most important people in their worlds, both personal and in business. Another habit you can have is to stay health-oriented. Think about your health most of the time. Think about eating less food and better food. Think about daily exercise. Think about getting lots of rest. Remember, to be successful in our competitive world, you need a lot of energy. To have a lot of energy, you've got to eat good foods, get lots of rest, and exercise all the time. One of the most important habits is that of character and honesty. Is always tell the truth, no matter what the price. And the final characteristic, the final habit, is that of self-discipline. And I have written and spoken upon this for years and years and years, but self-discipline seems to be the foundation habit that makes everything else possible. And the best definition of self-discipline is that self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. You see, anybody can do it if they feel like it. It's when you don't feel like it and you do it anyway that you eventually develop the self-discipline that makes everything else possible. Thank you for watching. What is the one habit that you should start to develop right now that will help you more than any other habit to achieve your most important goals? Whatever it is, start practicing this habit every day until it...
Pretty good stuff, right? Okay, so we've covered the fundamentals. Now we're going to jump into analyzing a deal. So what I thought would be really helpful, and Mike, you hit on this. We did a bus tour a couple times where we actually went out to the property and we looked at the rehab and what things cost and where I try to cut corners and where I don't try to cut corners. It's important to know where you can shave off your budget and where you can't. And it all depends on what you're doing. Is it a flip? Is it a high-end flip? Is it something, a low-end flip? Maybe it's a flip you're doing as like a rent-to-own. Maybe it's just a buy and hold strategy where you're doing it for rental purposes. Is it a high-end rental? Is it low-end rental? So many ways to